So say you're in a situation where you are pregnant or you're wanting to get pregnant. Would you want a healthy baby or an unhealthy baby? Well, we would all say that we want a healthy baby, right? Well, today I'm going to talk about the importance of prenatal care before, after, and during pregnancy. So when my husband and I were trying to get pregnant, I decided that before I got pregnant, I would do 3 months of just getting healthy, taking prenatal vitamins, taking folic acid, going to see my OB/GYN, and just getting ready to have that baby. And so today I'm going to be talking about the importance of prenatal care before, during, and after the pregnancy. I'm going to talk about the reasons why it's so important, the benefits of it, and some things that could happen if you do not get prenatal care. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the importance of prenatal care before you get pregnant. So there's some steps that you have to take before you get pregnant. I'm just going to read some statistics for you. The National Vital Statistics reports that more than 3 out of 4 women, that's 77%, initiated prenatal care in the first trimester of pregnancy in 2016. Less than 5% of women began in their 3rd trimester, and 1.6% had no prenatal care at all. The ages of the mother was affected, and so if a woman was older than 30, that they were more likely to get prenatal care in their first trimester. That dropped significantly with women in their 20s and below, that they did not get any prenatal care before they got pregnant or during their first trimester. So before you get pregnant, there's some steps that you should take. You should go to your doctor and get a checkup. You should take your prenatal vitamins, folic acid, at least 400 micrograms. And then you should make sure that your immunizations are up to date. You should make sure that you control any medical conditions, any mental health conditions that you may have. You want to stop drinking alcohol, taking drugs, and smoking. You want to attain a healthy weight. You want to look at your family history, look at your husband or your spouse's family history, and then you want to seek any mental or physical health if that's something that you're worried about. It's so important when you do want to have prenatal care before you're pregnant to talk to your doctor, get some counseling of some things that could be affected in your pregnancy. So some of you may be asking, well, what if I did expect to get pregnant or I didn't want to get pregnant? How am I going to get prenatal care before I'm pregnant? That's a great question. You can't because you don't know and you weren't planning for it. So the easiest thing to do is the minute you find out that you're pregnant, you go to the doctor and you do all the steps that I just talked about. And so the earlier you can do it, the better and more proactive that you are, the better the outcome for your baby and for you to be healthy. So the second thing that I want to talk about, so we've already talked about the importance and why you need prenatal care before you're pregnant, but I want to talk about the importance and why you need prenatal care during pregnancy. This is one of the most important because you're actually carrying life and you want to have the most healthiest baby and healthiest pregnancy possible. So as soon as you're pregnant, go to your OB/GYN. There's so many different reasons why this is important for you and baby. It's important that you get a physical exam. You want to make sure that your cervix is closed. You want to make sure that the baby's implanted right. You want to make sure that everything's healthy with you and your baby. And you want to make sure that you have really good blood pressure, that your cholesterol is good, all your labs look good. You want to make sure all those things are so important. So if you don't get prenatal care in the beginning of your pregnancy, then you could have some major complications or even minor complications that could become major if you don't be proactive and figure out the steps that you need to take. So your doctor is going to do all of those different checkups. They're going to do lab work, check for screening of abnormalities in your baby. And so those are all important. So like I said, there's many things that could go wrong during pregnancy. And so the more proactive that you are at the right time, the better and healthier your baby and you can be. When I went to my first prenatal checkup at 8 weeks, they ran a bunch of lab work and different things like that, and they found out that I was an AB negative blood type. I didn't know my blood type, and so they said that because I was a negative, RH negative blood type, that I had to get something called a RhoGAM shot. So basically, a RhoGAM shot is if my baby has a positive blood type, that means that I could create antibodies against that baby's blood type. So when the baby is delivered, it can try to attack the baby's blood type. And that could cause a lot of different issues, a lot of different blood issues for the baby, things like anemia. and things that are even worse than that. And so why it's so important for you to have prenatal care during pregnancy is if you don't know something like that, that's something that's very preventable, but if you don't know, then you can't prevent it. And so that's one of the major reasons why getting prenatal care during pregnancy is so important, because you want to make sure that something like that's not going to happen. And if you don't get prenatal care, you won't know, like me. So you may be saying, this is all good and well, but what about for those women who can't simply afford a doctor's appointment? Well, that's a really good question. Not everybody can financially get prenatal care. A lot of people can't afford a doctor's appointment. A lot of people don't even have insurance. And so that's a great question to ask. But there are many different organizations that give free services and free prenatals to women who simply can't afford it, or for people who don't have insurance. There's one ministry that I want to talk about. It's called Caring to Love Ministries. It's here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. It's one of the services that they have multiple services for prenatal. They give you prenatal vitamins. They give you a pregnancy test. They do counseling there. They do physical workups. They do ultrasounds. Pretty much any type of prenatal service that you would need, they provide for free, and it's confidential. And so that's just one service that women have, but there's multiple different clinics and services and ministries that do provide free services for women who simply can't afford prenatal care. So the third thing that I want to talk about is postnatal care. So this is right after the baby's delivered. It's right after the placenta comes out and 6 to 8 weeks after the baby is born. And so this is very, very critical, because this is where the most deaths or morbidity of women and their children happen in this time period. You want to make sure that you're eating the right amount of foods. You want to make sure you're going to your doctor's appointments and making sure that you're healthy, your body is being healthy, and your baby is growing, and your baby's making all of those amazing milestones. So if you don't get postnatal care afterwards, you won't know if your baby's growing, you won't know if you're healing properly, and that can cause some major complications that could really be avoided. I want to just say that there's this is just one thing I found online, but it's early prenatal care summary checklist. You can find these online. You just put prenatal summary checklist, and you can see all the things that you need to do in order to get prenatal care before, after, and during delivery. So in conclusion, I've talked about what you need to do before, after, and during labor, and how to get prenatal care. And that's it. Thank you.